Now, as this situation develops, KPRC-2, as we referenced, we are heading to the center of where this investigation is taking place. Our Gage Goulding is en route right now to New Orleans, and he's joining us live along I-10 with more on where things stand right now. Gage. Can you hear me, Gage?
Yeah, hey, we just got through Lake Charles on I-10. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear if my signal's coming through. All right. We are on our way to the French Quarters, to Bourbon Street, to the epicenter of what I'm told is about a 2.5 block crime scene of absolute destruction. It's a crime scene that's going to be established for quite some time. I spoke with a business owner down there who says they can't even get to their business because of how large this area is blocked off. So we're headed to that area right now, but I really want to just kind of talk about the severity of this incident and how large it is. 10 people confirmed to be dead. At least 35 others have been injured, and new within the last half hour is we know the suspect name. We know that they are from Texas. The suspect, Shamoud Din Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas, and NBC News has confirmed from law enforcement sources familiar with this investigation that he had an ISIS flag on the back of his truck. There's a lot of speculation throughout the day and earlier this morning about what could be this thing that was extending off the back of this truck. It is indeed an ISIS flag on the back of the truck. And there was also some discrepancy, if you will, during the early morning press conference that was held in New Orleans between the administrator of the superintendent, excuse me, of the New Orleans Police Department and the FBI. There was some discussion of whether it was an act of terror or not. The FBI saying it was not an act of terror, but now walking back that information. Of course, we're waiting for an updated press conference this afternoon. We did get a statement from the FBI that did have some information. They would not specifically say how many people were injured, but they did confirm that at least 10 people were killed, and the language they're using is dozens of others were injured. So to me, that indicates that there could be additional injuries that we're still waiting to hear about. So that number could increase. I think it would be safe to say that we shouldn't be surprised if that number does increase. Another fact that we're also working on, our colleagues in Houston are working on, is that this pickup truck, this Ford pickup truck, was rented out of the Houston area. That's another thing that the FBI is working on confirming. Exactly how did this person get a hold of this pickup truck? Why? And what avenues did they go through? The other big concern in the factor that the FBI has been working on, in addition with local law enforcement, is this potential IEDs, or improvised explosive devices, some sort of explosive devices. They did, and I'm reading this from the FBI statement here, weapons and a potential IED were located inside the subject's vehicle. Other potential IEDs were also located within the French Quarter. If you've ever been to the French Quarter, this is a very, very busy area any day of the week, let alone on a night like New Year's Eve, where there could be thousands, if not tens of thousands of people, likely, as we heard from Mr. McCurley just a few minutes ago in that interview, that are in and around that area. So if you can imagine, I want to read a message from a business owner that I was messaging back and forth with. She said that they crashed into that, the driver of the vehicle, Jabbar, crashed into that construction crane outside of a hotel in that area, saying that it did spread about 2.5 blocks that he was able to drive. However, it could have been much worse. And those are words from somebody that's a local there and that runs a business in that area. So incredibly sobering words to hear that even though 10 people killed, at least 30, 35 others that have injured, potentially more than that, that it could have been worse than that. And that's kind of hard to wrap your head around, the severity of this situation. Another fact that our colleagues at NBC News have uncovered is that the city of New Orleans was removing and replacing security bollards on Bourbon Street. And what those are, those big concrete or metal pylons that are stuck in the ground. Some of them can move up and down to allow equipment in and out. But the city's saying they were in the process of removing and replacing those security bollards on Bourbon Street in the area of where that truck attacker struck this morning. Now, that kind of opens up a whole new can of worms, and questions that I have that I certainly want answers to is, did this person know that that was ongoing? Did they have knowledge of this, or was this something that was kind of just drawn up and, I don't want to say by happenstance that they were able to access this area. Reading a quote here from the city saying on this website, quote, "The removable bollards will help close the street to cars during pedestrian-only traffic times, but will be stored away when the street is open to traffic." So remember, Bourbon Street is a street. Cars, but it's closed for big events such as a New Year's Eve celebration. That project was to be finished in February of 2025, so in just a month or so, that project was to be completed. So obviously that was an open gate for this attacker to carry out their attacks. But the big news that we just learned in the last several minutes is that there was an ISIS flag on the back of the pickup truck. That was a rented pickup truck that we know was rented from the Houston area, and we know that the suspect, Samsudin Jabbar, a U.S.-born Texas resident, obviously, why did this happen? How did this happen? The motives behind this, and the knowledge that was used to carry out this kind of crime are huge questions that many people have as we go forward. But I want to really, again, stress the severity of this, Sophia, that this is a large crime scene. It spans several blocks. There are a lot of things to go through when you look at these pictures and these images that are coming out of New Orleans and the French Quarters. There is a lot to go through. Just the physical evidence, but just also you got to think about the technological and the electronic evidence. All of these businesses likely have security cameras, cell phone video, pictures on social media. This is going to be not just a days-long investigation, but likely a weeks or months-long investigation as they begin to try to sort through what happened and how this happened and collect all that evidence to try to pinpoint exactly every movement on the map. So an investigation that is very early on in the stage. We are on our way there to the French Quarters. We're on I-10. We won't get there for several hours. Driving distance to New Orleans, if you haven't driven from the Houston area, roughly five and a half hours door to door. So we got a lot of work to do, and we've been working nonstop on our way there. So we'll be sure to check in with you as soon as we have some more information. Sophia?